And UConn moving on to the Sweet 16. UConn back in the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2014 when they won it all as they beat St. Mary's 70-55. Back-to-back wins over teams nicknamed the Gales. Beat Iona in the first round, now St. Mary's here in the second round to get to Las Vegas to face Eric Musselman and the Arkansas Razorbacks. How about Adama Sanogo? And this kid, if you don't know, you should know about Sanogo. He had 25 points, 10 rebounds in their first round game. 24 points, 8 rebounds, duplicating that against St. Mary's as UConn advancing to the Sweet 16. All right, back here at 24/7 Sports, Director of Scouting Adam Finkelstein. What did you see out of UConn in this one as they dominate 70-55? It was tight early on. One of the best players for St. Mary's, Alex Dukas, goes out with an injury. Their best three-point shooter, but really Sanogo, the story for UConn.
Yeah, and it was very much about the second half. I mean, you look at this game, and it was similar to the game against Iona, whereas UConn found themselves down for the majority of the first half, trying to get a rhythm into the game. Jordan Hawkins on the bench in foul trouble. But the second half was just an absolutely different story and dominant 20 minutes of basketball, which showed why a lot of people are picking them to go to a Final Four. They have the best center combination in the country. We've talked a lot about Sanogo this week, and rightfully so. Donovan Clingan, the freshman 7-footer, the best backup center in college basketball. Those two, when you can throw a little change-up by bringing the huge Clingan off the bench and just the lid he puts on the rim, it's just invaluable. So having that tandem up front and then the perimeter firepower that they have with Jordan Hawkins and some of those other guys just makes them a really tough out.
All right, so you look at what UConn is able to do in this game, a game that they really controlled in the second half. When you don't make a bucket, St. Mary's didn't make a bucket, final 7 minutes of the game. You're not going to win the game. I mean, that's what it comes down to, and UConn took advantage of that. St. Mary's, what did you see out of them in this game that maybe you thought they'd have a chance?
Well, in the first half, I thought they did a really good job of controlling tempo. They got the ball into the paint. They missed some chippies. You heard Randy Bennett talk about that. But in the second half, what was clear is that they just didn't have the same horses that UConn had. And to be able to get – UConn's a team that can beat you in a variety of different ways. They can beat you inside. They can beat you outside. They can beat you fast. They can beat you slow. St. Mary's doesn't have that same depth and versatility. And I think that UConn – really showed over the course of this week in Albany that they are capable of winning games in different ways. And if you want to go on a run in March, you need to be able to win games in different ways. All
right, so up next for UConn is Arkansas, which this region is the group of death.
I mean, that's must-see
right?
TV.
The whole West region is the group of death. This is the toughest region by far. The East has absolutely been just blown up. Teams all over the place.
Mic both of those coaches up, put it on pay-per-view. It would be amazing.
It's been a wild region. The West has been absolute. It's been great, right? Arkansas, UConn, Eric Musselman and Danny Hurley, two guys that will shout from start to finish in this matchup. This could be one of these matchups where it's like back and forth, back and forth. I mean, it's like we should just take the over now.
I just want to see if Hurley will tell him to keep his shirt on, because I think that just, I mean, the sideline banter alone is going to be amazing, and it's going to be one heck of a basketball game.
What is your early thought on the matchup in terms of how Arkansas and UConn match up? You've seen them play all throughout the season.
It's going to be interesting because Arkansas is a team that, again, they can beat you in different ways. And, you know, with Debo Johnson and Ricky Council, they were the story yesterday. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about Anthony Black and Nick Smith. Nick Smith didn't score yesterday. So I think if you're UConn, you've got to be able to prepare for a variety of different scenarios. And simultaneously, Arkansas has to try and contend with that dynamic duo up front and the lethal perimeter. We're talking about a guy in Jordan Hawkins who came off the bench. Didn't come off the bench, but came off and had 12 points in the second half after being in foul trouble and on the bench in most of the first half. Newton was a big-time shot maker today, made 3 threes to keep him alive in the first half. So this is two teams that are very versatile, that can beat you in multiple ways, and it makes preparing for each other that much more complicated.
Well, here's the other thing, too, right? It's been like a roller coaster for both of these teams, right? UConn started the season undefeated. They start to lose a stretch of games, and they come back, and you're like, what do I really feel about UConn? And then they start to pick it up again late in the second half of the season. And then you see Arkansas, who lost 4 of its last 5 to end the regular season. Good effort in the SEC tournament against Texas A&M, but you're like, I don't know what to make of them. So you look at these teams; they've had this like roller coaster of a season. How do you how do you break that down in a matchup like this, right?
I think it's a game that's going to be crucial to establish rhythm and confidence early, because UConn has won their first 2 games with a dominant second half. They're not going to be able to just be effective for 20 minutes against Arkansas. Simultaneously, Arkansas is a team that you never really know what you're going to get, similar to UConn. So one of the things that's going to be really interesting in this game is who is able to establish their confidence early and play in rhythm. When both of these teams are playing with confidence, with pace, they are as exciting and talented a team as you're going to find anywhere in the country, but they can both be a little fragile mentally. So establishing that flow, that rhythm, is going to be one of the very interesting subplots of next week's matchup.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.